Hello, it's Juliet Leonard here, speech and language therapist from Speech and Language Link. In recent weeks, our wonderful help desk have received quite a few inquiries from schools and from host families asking whether we have any resources to support some of the Ukrainian children who are coming into their schools or their homes. And so I thought this might be a good time to talk about children who have English as an additional language and how we can support those children either in their homes or in school. The first thing goes without saying, and that's that these children and that these families have been through an incredibly stressful and turbulent time in their lives. They've had to leave their home country, all the things that they know, their friends, their family, their home, maybe their pets, and coming to a new country where they don't speak the language must be incredibly stressful. It's really important that they maintain that link with their home, their homeland, but also with their home language, and their well-being is absolutely paramount. For children with EAL, children who are proficient in their first language, they should actually develop their second language quite quickly because they can use the first language to map the second language onto it. So the good news is that those children will develop their second language quite quickly. We just need to give them time, and we need to be patient and let them absorb the language that's around them. It doesn't necessarily need to be specifically taught or forced in any way. So there are some things, though, that you can do to help them along their journey, some light touch ideas. And I would say that the main thing as a speech and language therapist that I would really suggest is augmenting the spoken message with either signs, gestures, pictures or symbols to really help those children to pin meaning to the words and the actions that they're seeing, and to start to learn what those mean in a more dynamic way. So that might mean gesturing what you're talking about. It might mean using lots of non-verbal pointing. It might also mean using pictures and putting pictures maybe on the fridge to indicate what's in the fridge, or at school you might be labelling the drawers with lots of pictures everywhere and the word written underneath, so that children can have that constant reminder of what those things are. It doesn't even have to be a formal picture or system. Having a pack of sticky notes in your pocket, and then when you come across a word that the child hasn't understood, drawing a little doodle with them and gesturing what that means at the same time can be so useful for a child, because they then have the memory of that moment, which really helps with their retention of that vocabulary, and they've seen the picture being drawn and they've seen the action happen. Another thing to bear in mind is thinking about alphabets. So taking Ukraine as an example, they use a 33-letter Cyrillic script alphabet, which is very different from our alphabet. So phonics teaching is going to be a bit of a challenge, and it might be quite tempting to sort of jump straight into reading and books, but actually learning what those phonic sounds represent and how they correlate with their own alphabet is something that's really important to look at first. If you are an Infant Language Link or Junior Language Link subscribing school, which I'm sure you are, then you'll know that there is a tab at the top of the page when you log on to your home page that says EAL, and that contains lots of information and resources that can help you along the way with these children. And it can also help to identify when to do an assessment if you feel that there might be a more underlying difficulty with language, which can happen within the first year that the child starts school. So there's a few tips and suggestions from a speech and language therapist's viewpoint. If you have any other questions, then do pop them in the comments box below, and we will get back to you and try and answer them. Have a good day.